Welcome to Producer Points. My name is Justin Gammella, and I'll be your host. I'm a producer and songwriter who's had the honor of working with some of the best in the industry. This podcast is about bringing you the one-on-one conversations with producers, mixers, songwriters, and artists that I've always cherished. We'll dive into their unique stories, uncover the secrets behind music creation, and share our mutual love for the great food that fuels our sessions. Join me for real talks straight from the studio where music and life intersect. This is Producer Points. Today on Producer Points, we're excited to feature a multi-platinum producer and songwriter who's made a huge splash in the music world. Hailing from Stuttgart, Germany, and now based in LA, his collaborations range from chart-topping hits with BTS and Dua Lipa to innovative tracks with BLACKPINK and Twice. Renowned for his cutting-edge production and a studio that's as sleek as it is functional, he's become a sought-after name in the industry. Join us as we get up close with this powerhouse renowned for creating universal music sensations, Lingren.
Hi.
Thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a minute. But we were just talking. You were just saying you're in New York looking at apartments and stuff. How was that?
I love New York so much.
Yeah. Did you ever live there?
No, my wife did though.
Okay.
And she yearns for the East Side. And so do I now. I've always lived in cities that were fully walkable.
Right.
I actually didn't have a driver's license until last February.
Oh, I believe that. My brother-in-law, I mentioned he's from Berlin too. He still doesn't have a driver's license. He's been here for 15 years.
Yeah, there you go. It's just so nice. I love walking. Like my average, I think if you pull up my Apple Health, I think my average is like somewhere between 10 and 12,000 steps.
Oh, just
because I love walking.
Yeah. Your neighborhood where you live now is very walkable too.
Yeah, it is walkable. It's hilly though.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice, a little late night cardio. We do these like night walks and stuff. And
I go to that area a lot and it's like parking there is really hard. But if you live there and you can walk around, it's pretty nice.
If you find a parking spot.
Yeah, if. That's I have the same problem here. You were just looking for parking to come here and do the thing. And it's part of the LA journey of just...
I think my back tire is in a red. It's fine.
That's fine. No, they don't check this late at night. They can't see. So, dude, I thank you so much for doing the pod. I'd like to start the podcast off with talking about how you got your start and how you made it in music where you are today.
I was born into a very musical family.
Okay, wow.
But not in like a pop industry type of way. Like my dad's a jazz bassist. My mother is a judge by day, songwriter by night, and plays the trumpet. And my parents actually met in a big band.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My mom was the only woman in the whole place, sometime in the late 80s. And then I was surrounded by music my entire life. I grew up behind my dad's bass amp on stage. That's where I spent like the first 3 years of my life. It was like first I was in a little carry, what are those things called? Like a pram?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like literally behind the bass stack on stage.
Was he like a touring bass player or would he play locally?
Yeah. Mainly jazz and a lot of classical too. But sometimes he would do like pop gigs. He played with the Pointer Sisters.
Oh, wow.
Les McCann.
Upright bass?
Upright bass, electric bass, that kind of stuff.
Upright bass is something I wish I could play.
It's so dope.
It's so cool.
I miss mine.
Oh, did you play?
Yeah.
Of
course.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's something that I feel like even like having that in your studio is such like a statement piece too.
Yes.
Just leaving it there because they're so beautiful.
Yeah. I had a buddy who called his bass Batman because he lived in a studio apartment and he had to lean his bass somewhere and it was like right next to his curtains. And every time at night when he came home a little drunk, he'd get scared and he was like, "Oh, Batman." Yeah, that's how I got started in life. Music was always around. And then the nail in the proverbial coffin was my 8th Christmas when my stepbrother and I got a PC with 300 MB RAM. Can you believe it? And he got The Sims and I got Cubase.
There you go.
And here we are 25 years later. I'm still on Cubase. I still have one of the floppy disks.
Really? Oh, yeah. I know. I've seen it. Yep.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that was my 8th Christmas gift. When people that are not in the industry ask me what I do and I tell them I'm a producer, they're always like, "Oh, so you play instruments?" And I'm like, "Good enough."
Yeah.
I'm not good at anything really, except Cubase is my instrument.
That's your instrument.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I played classical piano from when I was like 7.
Yeah.
Hated it. My mom ruined that. She was really strict about that. And then jazz piano, my dad ruined for me because he would be like, yeah, you have to meet Les McCann, play something for him. And I'd be like, I can't. This is Les McCann. This guy invented fucking funk, you know what I mean? So it was always like, I was always surrounded by these like incredible people who were absolute like mega virtuosos in their field. It made me not really want to do that. It made me want to do something that they couldn't do.
Right.
And so I just got really good at producing music.
Yeah. Was that just the natural teenage inclination to like say like, screw my parents? Or you think it was, you had a worry that you'd forever be compared to them because of that?
No, that was reggae.
Right.
My dad hates reggae. So naturally, I love reggae.
There you go. So funny.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my teenage rebellion. I wasn't really like a bad teenager.
Yeah, I think it's not even being bad. It's just that like it's a biological thing that kids want to be pushed away from their parents.
Yeah. It's like flying the coop a little bit.
You know, to like venture out and meet a mate.
I kind of liked the live thing. Like I really like playing live. I just don't know what I would play. I did play bass in several bands and I played keys in several bands. I did the DJ thing for a little bit, but it's all not for me. It's like
that's what I was going to say. Growing up, teenager, playing music, start doing everything, and so you start going into bands from there. How did you get out to doing pop music and all that?
I've always really loved pop music. I guess it's just being from Europe and having grown up in the 90s and early 2000s.
Right.
It was just amazing. Just I think the first pop song that I ever was like, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. And my dad hates this. Was like, boom, I want you in my room. You know what I mean? So I love a good catchy melody. I love a good bubbly track.
Yeah. For me, it was the Backstreet Boys. I have a very distinct memory of that first Backstreet Boys album where I was like, oh, this is dope.
This is so dope.
Yeah.
This is like R&B adjacent.
Yeah.
But it's not hard.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
Yep.
And I think that's what always brings me back to pop music. Is the fact that it's for everybody.
Right.
It's not for everybody, obviously.
No, but
it's meant for everybody.
Right.
And that's what I love about it. It's so you can understand this.
The next thing I want to talk about is what's your typical workflow in a day from when you wake up to going to sleep? How are you sorting through your sessions?
I'm not an early bird at all. I wake up 9:30. Then have coffee 3 times a week. A trainer comes to the house, makes me miserable for an hour. And then we have food. And then usually I start sessions at 1 or 2 sometimes. I like 1 better because it gives me the opportunity to cut out a little earlier. I'll usually try to be in the studio around 12:30 just to get my head fiddle on the roads a little bit, maybe get some inspiration started. I don't start tracks or anything. I don't really like that. Sometimes for like camps and stuff, I'll have a couple starters just to get the ball rolling. But usually it's just, honestly, just to get in a musical mindset. Sometimes I'll just listen to music, not new music that's out right now. That usually depresses me and about many things.
That's the worst thing you can do sometimes. You have like
just let's check out New Music Friday 5 minutes before the session begins. That's gonna be a great day.
No, I like the idea of like listening to music as like a palate cleanser, just like a bunch of random stuff. Just be like, okay, cool.
Yeah, and often I also do it just to train my ears a little bit.
No,
because again, going back to the Cubase is my instrument thing. You have to practice, right? I don't really sit down because of blank canvas panic. I don't really sit down and start tracks by myself. But what I can do is train my ears. I can make sounds. Like I do a lot of just like standing in front of the Juno and seeing if I can tickle something out that hasn't been tickled out in the last 40 years. Usually fail.
Yeah, that's every sound from a Juno you've probably heard it already.
Yes. So I sit down at the Rhodes, an instrument I cannot make sound any other way other than the way it sounds. And just try to find some interesting chords or just practice a little bit. And then usually have a second coffee. And then the writers trickle in. 90% of the time, Mel will come to the session, obviously. Do live together.
Yeah, she's right there.
She's like right there. She'll come out. bunch of this, just a bunch of
Right,
talking. And I love that part because you can kind of land the plane a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't love like, hey, what's up, guys? I have this concept. Let's go.
Nope.
Hard. Really hard. Sometimes it works.
I could
Some of
do
my
that-
favorite co-writers do that
Right.
exclusively.
I can't do that with new people, but if it's like someone I work with
Yeah.
a lot, they like have an idea. It's cool. You're feeling it. Let's go.
For sure. The best days, we all know how the story ends, so don't need to finish it. We write a song, we record it. Usually I sit there, we have dinner, watch a bunch of TV, read a bunch of books, and then go to sleep.
What's the workflow like? You record the vocal, everyone leaves. How quickly are you getting bounces back? Are you comping the vocal there? How's that normally go?
You know.
Well, I know, but the listeners don't know. I know these answers.
Fast.
Yeah.
I'm a very impatient person, and I'm married an even less patient person.
Yeah.
So the song is usually done by 7:30.
Yeah. It's really impressive. And what are some things that you feel like you're doing to get bounces out that quickly? Whether it's template, mix bus, workflow, what do you attribute to that speed?
I'm not the producer that will be like in a session. I don't really love going too deep on the track right away because I feel like it boxes writers in, and I've talked to so many writers. I've lived in LA now for 7 years, and I think every single top liner, like I hate that word, but the people that don't record themselves usually and write incredible songs, every single person hates one thing and one thing only. It is sitting alone in a room with an engineer having to write to a pre-made track.
Right.
It's just soul-crushingly boring, and it boxes you in and super annoying. So I don't like to do that. Obviously, I want to create a vibe. I want to get some nice drums going. I want to get beautiful chords and often like an inspiring sound going. But I'm always open to changes. I'm always open to arrangement. I don't arrange the song out until it's time to cut a scratch, really. And then usually the scratch cutting turns into just cutting the song.
Right, yeah, man.
While all this happens, while the song gets written, while I cut the vocal, I hear it so much that I know exactly how to finish the track, and it's going to take me 25 minutes. Because ultimately, we can all do a little circle jerk about the best drum samples and whatever, but come on, it's really not that hard. Go boom, clap, and write a good-ass song.
Yeah. It's a lot easier. We say this on the podcast all the time. It's so much easier to produce a better song. And when I have the same ideology as you, where like, I want to focus on the song. My production can be so flexible with the arrangement. I don't care if I take everything out and put all new sounds in to fit the top line that we've written.
Oh, I'm a big scrapper.
Yeah.
When I don't have that moment where I'm like, I know what to do and I know how to go about this, I'll cut the vocal. I'll finish the vocal first. I'll hit delete on the entire track and just reproduce it. It'll be faster than me trying to make something work.
Yeah, it's harder to fix things than it is to just start from the beginning a lot of the time.
Yeah, because to add to what you just said, better songs are easy to produce because you don't need to produce great songs.
Right. You just work around. You get out of their way, essentially.
Yeah, you just do what they demand.
Yeah.
It sounds so ethereal, but really it is that simple.
Right. It's like get out of the way of the song, and like your job is quite easy at the end of the day.
Yes, all you got to do is like, Diplo said it best, really. Diplo said production is fashion for music. And a great song, you can put in anything. Put them in a tank top.
Listen, there's reason why you can have covers of songs be hits 30, 40, 50 years later.
Yes.
Because of that same exact ideology, where it's like, song's good. You just got to dress it up in a different way and present it in a more modern or more
fresh
throwback.
clothes on.
Yeah. That's all it needs.
Very true.
One thing I wanted to ask too, a little bit more nerdy, because we can get very nerdy in this podcast.
Oh, yes. You asked me about workflow and what makes it number one for me is the vocal chain. I don't like, I know you like it. You're a big comper, nudger, mixer.
Yeah.
I want my vocal to sound done when it goes in the box.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I do.
Oh, no, I am like that too.
Yeah.
Like I comp a lot just because I'm like very obsessed with Pocket, but like I now have my vocal chain where it's like all I'm really putting on my vocal now is like an EQ and maybe multi-band compression.
I'm highly obsessed with that. The Waves, the Abbey Road channel strip.
Oh, it's great.
It's on every single one of my records.
What do you like about it?
The pop vocal preset.
Okay.
No. I really love it has on the far left, you can switch through basically like preamp EQs.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Often that's it.
Just
often that's
finding
really
the one that works for the vocal.
That's what I do. It's usually just like I find the right thing that works with the voice, because I have this very plain 251 and I just compress the absolute bejesus out of it.
Good.
And then I just dial in the sound to fit the personality of the singer.
When you're compressing in the box or out of the box?
On the way in.
Okay.
Yeah. And I do 1176 and then the CL1B.
Okay.
It's controversial, but I like it.
I do 76 into my LA2A. So,
oh, there you go.
Yeah. I don't find it controversial. Like the fast slow thing is like been around for years.
Yeah, but a lot of people do it the other way around.
Yeah, I feel like the more common one is fast slow.
Yes.
And I don't know, it makes more sense to me.
I think it's harder to gain stage if we're going really fucking nerdy.
Yeah. No,
I think it's way harder to gain stage, and the 1176 will color. If you really want a snap on your vocal and you feed that snap into an 1176, you will have that color.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just don't want that. Like for a really crisp vocal, you just don't want that. That fuzz.
How hard, what's doing more of the compression, your 76 or your CL1B?
CL1B.
So you're hitting that harder than the
we're talking 18 versus 24 dB.
Right.
So both are doing a lot.
Okay, so you're going forward on both. Yeah. I love that. See, that's the thing. It's like on this podcast, like I find like I'm kind of with you, where like I lean on my 76. I'll let it hit. And some people, like when they come here, they're like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, it sounds good.
It sounds amazing."
Yeah, I bought the compressor to have it compress. Why would I not do it?
It's in the name, man.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'll go to other people's studios and like they'll have it run through their compressors and it just like kisses it. And I'm like, all right, if that's what you want to do, that's
nice
fine.
on a bus. I like that for like gluing.
Yes, right.
But for
vocal, it's just like, what do you do?
Do you know how good it feels to singers?
Yeah.
To put those headphones on and they sound like a finished vocal.
Yeah.
It's magical. The confidence that it brings. Like not all people are super comfortable cutting the day off.
Right.
Like when you've just written a song, Melanie nails it.
She's
on the first go.
Yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah.
It's the first take every single time.
Yeah.
But not everybody's like that.
Right.
And then to have a finished vocal coming out of your headphones.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
It's I like it's so crazy to me that like so many people come here and they start saying like, "Oh my God, I sound amazing." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I'm like actually doing stuff to your vocal, I guess. Like this is just the chain." Like the only thing I'll put on like console every once in a while is I'll put inflator on if they really want their vocal super compressed.
Okay.
Just
never done that.
It's like for the people who are like, I really want to hear myself like a shit ton. And that's what I'll do, where I can put inflator on there and it's not like smashing it anymore. It's just like, does the thing that inflator does.
Yeah.
It's a neat little trick that I found that works on the UAD console with that. And as far as like mix bus, like how happy do you lean on your mix bus? These like quick bounces.
You mean on my 2-bus?
Yeah.
Nothing. I have clipper on there.
That's it.
Sometimes when it's like really quick and I don't want to like do a whole, when it's like, it's 7:30, I'm really hungry for dinner and I'm like, my kick's clipping, I'll throw an L2 on.
Okay.
Just so it's not so obvious, but usually it's a clipper and that's it.
That's it. Okay. I have a decently, not super heavy mix bus, but like I have a mix bus that I've over the years have worked on.
Yeah.
That I like to lean on, but I'm also like, I'm producing through it. I'm mixing through it. It's,
okay.
Yeah. It's part of the sound.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't know why. It's like, I have these like weird dogmatic, I went to college thoughts sometimes. And they're probably super, super irrelevant. But sometimes I'm just like, is that going to make me not know what's actually going on? And then I send stuff out to mix and they have to remake that. And then that's a necessity for the song to sound the way I want it to sound.
The benefit I have is I'm working in Pro Tools and the mixers, most mixers using Pro Tools. So I can just send them my session.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's the one benefit. I think it's the reason why I will never go fully off Pro Tools. Because I hate sending stems and I love sending my sessions. It's really nice. I'm not gonna lie.
Good for you.
I know. Good for me. It's great.
For you.
Yeah. Have you gotten onto SoundFlow yet because does Sound work with Cubase yet? You know what SoundFlow is? Like the macro, like it does shit for you?
No.
Oh.
Never heard of it.
Basically you can just like have it like make your stems for you where you're like, all right, you have to like prompt it to teach it what to do.
Oh no, honey. Cubase has that built in.
Oh, it has it built in.
Yes, you can say, I want my stems as MP3s in this folder. I want my waves that folder. I want an MP3 into my Dropbox, into my folder. And I want every single stem through the mix bus solo
And
into another folder. And you can go to dinner and you can send the Dropbox link from the dinner table.
Fuck me. Go Cubase. There was a couple years ago when me and my main production buddy, David Arkwright, we were like thinking about going to Cubase for a minute.
That's so good. Just try.
I know. Oh, no, I like it. Whenever I use it, I like it.
Super addictive.
I think it's just like, I have my workflow now and I'm like.
What I really love about Cubase,
No, go for it. This is the nerd podcast.
Yeah, ring the nerd bell real quick. What I really love about it is that it's not a toy. I don't look down upon people that love Ableton. Bro, some of the most amazing people that I will never be as good as are exclusively in Ableton. I just don't like it feeling like a toy.
Yeah.
I just don't like the play element of it. I like my synths to feel like a toy. I like having fun in the room, but really like I want that tape machine feel.
Yeah.
You know, I want the Pro Tools thing, but I don't want to jump over the Pro Tools hurdles, and that's why I love Cubase.
Yeah, no, Cubase,
and it does a lot of things that are just incredible. Like Very Audio, man.
Oh, it's really good.
I could never live
Their
without
tuning algorithm is really good.
Absolutely,
it's super clean.
Yeah.
If I could just like grab that algorithm and put it into Pro Tools, I would, but you can't.
And now you have so many more features in it, which is just. It it keeps drawing me in further and further.
No, why would you ever leave
what
it?
I really love about it is I can just open, that's always been the thing. I just open my event like it's a MIDI event and I tune my vocals. But what's really important for my workflow, especially with the K-pop stuff, is I have to tune a lot of stacks. And I can just select multiple events, click on them, and they'll be overlaid. And I can tune them against each other, align pitch, align scoops. Let's say one girl band member forgot to do all the scoops on the harmonies, but she hit the harmonies perfectly. I'll need to make those scoops and I can line them up with my lead vocal in one window.
Shit.
It's incredible. It really makes everything so much faster and easier. And that's why it can be done by 7:30 for me.
There you go. All right. Cubase, guys, hop on it. I know I keep saying I will, and then I just don't. I will one day.
Yeah.
I used to use it. So you're in a session and you guys maybe want to go out to lunch or go out to dinner after the work.
Nope.
But no, here's the question. Where are you recommending people go?
Yes, the food part.
Yes. Where do you want people, where are you taking people, where are your favorite spots to eat around LA?
My favorite place to take people just closed and I'm not over it.
No.
Bar Maruno.
Yeah, that place is incredible.
Was.
You're right. I know. But now the Adam Perry Lane guy, he's running his barbecue thing.
Yeah, it's a barbecue pop.
Yeah.
I can't eat that much beef anymore because it's skin stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
Bar Maruno was so good.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was, and the place that closed first, Causita. It was a Nikkei spot. It was 2 doors down. It was like, and it's all the same lease. And that's ultimately what killed Maruno.
That's what happened.
Yes.
Okay. I was curious. I was like, it was always busy there. The food was great.
I know, but they had to carry an empty restaurant. It was heartbreaking. Yeah. Heartbreaking, really. The places that still exist that I love. Donna's.
I'm in there. What's that?
Just getting a reservation is really hard. Incredible Italian. No fuss. Just beautiful Italian.
Where is it?
Echo Park.
Okay.
On Sunset. And around the corner is another one of my favorites. Lonely Oyster.
Oh, okay.
Very New England style, oysters, lobster rolls.
Do they have a clam chowder? I'm only asking because my wife's and I anniversary is coming up and I'm looking for places and she loves clam chowder.
Okay. I never get the chowder because lactose.
Yeah. I have a dairy allergy too. I don't get it.
There you go.
Not for me. Did you get the lobster roll? That's all butter.
I brave it. I brave it.
Butter's not as bad.
No, it's not as bad.
Yeah.
No. But like the cream.
Yeah, that's all. That's bad news bears. It's like the butter. It's like a little bit versus like 8 ounces of cream.
They make a lobster roll flight.
Ooh.
It's 3 kinds. It's like a Connecticut style. What's the one with the mayo?
Oh, I don't know. I know there were so many kinds of lobster rolls.
Oh my God. Oh, and then they make their house one with a miso butter.
Oh, okay.
It's crack.
Really
absolute crack.
I love a good lobster roll.
Yeah. Then I'm a big fine dining guy. just love it. It's all I do on vacation. It's all I make money for.
Yeah. Just to go out and eat.
Just to go, honestly, the gear here and there. But really I really love to like find a resi at like a 3-2 Michelin star place. I just went to 11 Madison Park.
How was it?
Unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable.
What was the dish that stood out for you?
The bread and butter.
Okay.
Like,
just bread and butter?
I'm not saying this is like some shock moment.
Yeah.
It's indescribable.
Okay.
It's an onion butter. So the whole place is plant-based.
Okay.
It's an onion butter with like a shallot gelée on top.
Okay.
And the bread is a roll, also completely dairy-free, plant-based. Yeah. But it's laminated and they use the same butter inside. We ordered 3 rounds of bread and butter.
Just because it was so
on
good.
top of 9 courses.
Damn.
Yeah. So good. Cali on Melrose.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about that place. I haven't been there.
What's really good about Cali is the chef is hilarious. He will just spend a half an hour at your table and chat, and I love that guy. And it's not expensive. So it's really the price of an average restaurant, but it's on a 9 or 10 course tasting menu.
Okay.
And it's
That's
fantastic. Good. Californian, Japanese with French techniques.
Okay.
Lovely.
You're not the first person to bring up Cali, and so I've been like, okay, I gotta check this out.
The best dish is the dessert.
Okay.
It's just called the dessert.
That's it.
And it's got 3 ingredients. Take a lactose pill.
All right. So moving up from our food discussion, I want to start talking about some tunes you worked on.
Yes.
You've worked on so many. We were like talking a couple days before to figure out what songs we wanted to talk about. Very hard to choose, but first one I want to talk about is Dua Lipa's Good in Bed. First question I have for it is, what's the story of the writing and how that all come together?
It's one of my favorite stories because it's how I would like everything to work.
If only.
Yes. So, Melanie's publisher set us up with one of his newest signings, Upsall. This was 2018.
Oh, wow.
Say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was just starting out around that time.
She just had drugs.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like big yet.
It didn't get big till TikTok was like a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were super excited because I just love that kind of music. It's just so my thing. And so I was super excited. And we met for the first time, wrote a song called Simple Syrup, which is incredible. It's like a classic Melanie Fontana concept. Fantastic song. Did not get cut. Second song, even forgot the name. Like the next day, I think. Didn't get cut. A week later or so, we have a third date. And Taylor walks in and says, I want to write a song called Good in Bed. For
our listeners, Taylor is Upsall.
Yes. Yeah. She walks in like guns blazing. I want to write a song called Good in Bed. I'm super horny. I want it to sound like that thing.
Yeah.
Literally that.
Yeah.
That was like.
I've read with her a couple times, and like that's like what I love about her. She has like no fear, and she's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like not everyone is that open in a session.
Yeah, no, she wanted it to sound exactly like Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, that thing. And I was like, that's one of my top 3 albums that I would grab off the shelf if my house was on fire. Yeah. So that's perfect. And so we wrote the song. We wrote like verse first, like very kind of, just a kind of trickle. They wrote those horny ass verses. And then it was just kind of like time for the chorus, and we couldn't really figure out where to go. And I didn't want to switch the beat up. It was just straight up hip hop boom bappy thing. And I was like, it needs to be repetitive. And I had that song. That's just the way you make me feel. What's it called? It's like Julia Michaels, Justin Tranter, Janelle Monáe.
Oh,
yes.
That song.
Yeah.
That was a great record.
Yes. And there's a part in the pre-chorus where it's like na 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 na, and I was like, that's not a scale. We should do something like that. And Mel just freestyled the chorus.
Yeah,
Mel literally just like was like, okay, I got this. And just the first take, freestyles the chorus, and that was it. And then the song sat on a hard drive, and eventually we were like, okay, this is not coming out. What's happening? And we're like, Taylor, you want to put this out? And she's like, hell yeah, let's do it. And she was like ready to like give production notes and all that. And it just so happened that, well, our manager, Melanie and I have the same manager. Hi, Justin. Set up a meeting at Warner with Mel. And they played a bunch of songs in the meeting. And like, they saw like, those meetings where everybody's just kind of like answering some emails because that's what you do. And then like, basically like when they were ready to get up to leave, Justin was like, pulled the Columbo and was like, I got one more song. And played Good and Bet. And Nate Albert was like, send me that right now. And he sent it to Dua's manager, and Dua loved it. And we were in Seoul. Yeah, we were like on like an Asia. We had gone to Tokyo, Seoul, and then we were going to go to Cannes to speak at this convention called Meetem. And we woke up in Seoul the day of our flight via Qatar to Justin having called us 10 times. And I was like, Dua wants the song. Dua wants the song. Like, she loves it. Send stems now. And I was like, we have to be in an Uber in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I literally sat in the Uber, like bouncing stems. We had to rush through security, airport Wi-Fi, horrible. I try to upload stems. Can't upload stems. Qatar Airways Wi-Fi, horrible. Can't upload stems. I'm sweating for 16 hours. I'm just in absolute horror that I'm going to send these stems too late. She's going to move on. They're going to close the album. The chance is blown. We land in Nice, run to an Uber, get to Cannes, check into the hotel. I run up to the hotel room, upload the stems, and I'm like, okay, done. We go down to the beach. Justin waits for us with a platter of oysters and some champagne and goes, she's going to just come to your house and cut it. It's fine.
Oh my God.
I'm like, you dick. I paid like $60 on Qatar Airways for Wi-Fi. Come on, man.
Get this done. Oh my God.
Yeah, but that's how it happened. And it just so happened to be the day after Justin's 30th birthday. And I was like, okay, this is the first birthday party I'm not going to have a drink at.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's...
I left at like 10 p.m. and was like, Dua's coming tomorrow to cut this song.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, she showed up and cut the shit out of it.
Yeah. I feel like that's a very easy vocal to cut. And just...
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what she does? You know what she does?
No.
She walks in, puts her phone, is like, oh, can I charge my phone?
Huh.
Puts it down and just goes to the mic and sings the song.
Huh.
She knows it.
No, I mean, it makes sense.
Like that's how I want things to go.
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah.
Why is life so hard?
Yeah. The most talented people I've worked with, the couple times I've gotten to work with people as big as a Dua, you're like, oh, there's a reason why.
That's why you are where you are, because you are absolutely incredible at what you do.
Yeah. My best vocals I do the least work on because it's just like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, that vocal I did a ton of work on because...
You wanted it to.
No, it's not in a damn scale, and it's got like 12 tracks.
Well, so
it's got 12 stacks on the chorus.
Yeah, and so funny. So one of my questions here is, vocal is great as always that you do. Your vocals always sound great, but the process of recording and layering couldn't have been easy because it's exactly what I said, that like it's not in the key.
No, it's 4 notes across the
lead. Yeah. So like you had to like line up each and every single one of those and make sure they were...
Rewind 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly what you said. Cubase. There you go.
Is amazing at that because it's not just Dua. It's Taylor and Melanie.
Yeah, there's clear gang vocals, which makes that chorus.
Yeah, it's I think five times Dua, 3 Taylor, 3 Mel.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and they're all perfectly aligned.
Yeah, but also perfectly aligned and not like, I think you did a good job of making sure they were just out enough.
It's mainly Dua's vocals that aren't perfectly aligned because she's really like, her vocal really doesn't need to be doubled.
No.
She has such a present voice that you have to really make sure you double her intentionally.
Yeah.
Because
to me, her voice, I feel like it can get phasey if you like start tuning it
gets
much.
That EDMs thing and nobody likes that.
No.
You know, it gets that like, no, the track has no room anymore.
Yeah.
She really shines by herself. And so I left her kind of not absolutely perfect, but Mel and Taylor are like military precision.
Right. Trying to get in there. Yeah. That's like something I learned years ago when I had a song that had like some like blues notes where it was like in between
Yeah.
two notes, and you're like, oh shit, use your ears, not your eyes.
Yeah.
You know, when tuning, most
Yeah.
everything, honestly, like you should always use your ears and not your eyes when you're tuning shit.
But then it gets really hard.
Yeah.
When you have 12 stacks.
Yes.
Of something that's it's so fickle.
Yeah.
You know, because that kind of stuff really needs to like hit.
Yeah, that's something where it's like I mostly use vocal line, and I know vocal line wouldn't be able to do that. Like it can't, and that's
especially not with 3 singers.
No, one of the tuning programs I use a lot that not a lot of people use is I really like Waves Tune.
Oh, interesting. That's never worked for me.
Yeah,
quite.
I love Waves Tune. Not Waves Tune real time. They're like actual like like hand tuning one. I find it's like very natural on certain voices. Honestly, most voices. Like when I'm trying to go for a super natural vocal, I use Waves Tune.
Interesting.
There's something about it.
That's what I really like the Cubase internal auto tune for.
Yeah.
It's a lot less grippy and it just sounds better than Antares.
Yeah.
Mel will know in her ears when she's singing whether it's Antares or a Cubase tune on.
Yeah.
Like it's just like it's such a distinct, like when you know your voice so well, you know a certain, it can be the exact same settings.
Right. But no, they all
like
have
you can match them to a T.
Yeah.
It's just a certain sound that the Antares has.
Yeah. Auto tune has that sound that like we're all very used to and we want sometimes.
Pleasant.
Right. It's pleasant or familiar.
Pleasantly familiar.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like people
like
are
a 909 clap.
Right. It's like people are used to it. So that's why it sounds good.
Yeah.
The other thing I loved about that song is the bass in there.
That's not me.
That's not you.
No.
What's that?
That's David Burrell from Take a Day Trip.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. It's a really cool. I mean, it sounds great.
My original bass was kind of more like a laid back 8-note bass.
Okay.
Think Pina Palladino Voodoo performance.
Yeah.
Just as good. Just as good. As I said, I'm a very good bass player. It conjured that kind of thing up.
Yeah.
But what happened is in the process of finalizing the song with Day Trip, who came in as additional producers, it just didn't work anymore because they had made the piano into an 8-note riff.
Right.
And so it was just kind of like, you can't have the bass and the piano do that.
No.
Then it's just, Mike's no animal.
No.
And so we had to kind of decide, do we keep the piano, which obviously is so much more like that thing.
Yeah.
Or do we keep the bass doing that 8-note thing? And we just opted for the more stabby bass line.
Yeah, I think you made the right choice. Yeah, I mean, that production.
And the bass sounds really good.
No, it sounds, I mean, I like hadn't listened to that song in a minute. And when I went back to it, I was like, oh yeah, that bass sounds like really good.
And I know now it's like nice and handmade. And it's not, I was curious because I was super perfect.
I felt like, not to say that you're not a great bass player, but like it was like a really, but it was like a really good. I was curious to know if like you had hired someone to play it, but
no, it's David.
Yeah, it sounds like he's a great bass player. So. Next song I want to talk about is Blackpink's "The Girls," which is one of the coolest productions I've heard in quite some time.
Thank you.
Really. I remember when I heard it, it was like, I don't know if I heard it because you or Melanie shared it on Instagram or I heard it on New Music Friday or something, but I remember when I heard it, I was like, this shit fucking bumps.
Thank you.
It's really, really cool.
Wow.
So, my first question right off the bat is, what's that first sample, that like flute thing?
It's East West Raw, the Ney flute, and I just played it.
Played it in?
Yeah.
And then it sounds like you layered it in with other things eventually too.
What I really love doing, this is a nerdy trick.
There you go.
So when you're doing that weird little flute thing for like either rap beats or for like that kind of thing, you just want that like fluty thing, but you don't want it to sound like, like you're just using like a flute sample.
Right.
You want it to, conjure something else up. What I love to do is you just have your flute going, you just compress it to whatever you want it to do. A little saturation often goes a long way because it like works with the air.
Yeah.
But then just double it and just put an altar boy on it. Don't fuck with the pitch, just with the formant, and it'll just catch notes differently, and it'll actually create little chords for you.
Yeah.
And you can just tuck that underneath, and it's super random. Like sometimes, like the next bar on a repetition, it won't catch that same note. It'll just kind of fuck up in a good way. Because it only messes with the formant, so it'll always be in a harmonic structure that works.
Yeah.
And it kind of like makes these like little blips and blurbs. And if it's a stereo sample, sometimes it'll even fuck up in a spatial way. And it's super awesome. I love
it's
that track.
how like sometimes it's super annoying when Alter Boy does that when it doesn't when you don't want it to do that.
When you don't want to, no.
There's
then it's
nothing
horrible.
worse.
Yeah.
But like when it does do it, it's like you're saying, like it's one of the cooler things that it does. Where you're like, that was weird and cool.
Just it's a little Ghost in the Machine moment.
Yeah.
And we can talk about those till the cows come home because I love that. That's like what I live for.
Yeah. A little happy. I call
happy
them
accidents.
Happy
and
accidents. Yeah.
Ghost in the Machine.
That's what I want every day. You can't force it.
No, you can't.
It just has to happen.
You have to, You have to have an extensive gear collection to make it work every single day.
But yeah, the whole track, it has like a ton of ethnic instruments and stuff. Are you when you're doing stuff like that, are you mostly working off samples or VSTs? Like what's your process either for that song or just in general?
On that song, it's a lot of actual played, obviously VST instruments, but they're actually like
played
and not sampled because I needed them to do exactly what they did. I didn't want to like cut up a sample and have like love a Britney Spears toxic moment, but I didn't want that. I didn't want that like cut up feeling where it's like, then you have transients in there that are going to mess with your track and they'll fuck up your drums. So it's just kind of like, it's like a lot of East-West raw, those like the Middle East collection.
Yeah. No one really, I'm like, it's funny you bring up East-West. Like I use East-West, but no one really knows about their stuff.
It's like they haven't released anything in a while.
Yeah.
That's really made waves.
It's also, are you doing like the monthly thing or do you buy them outright?
No, I bought those.
Yeah.
College probably.
Yeah,
that was
so
like
you've had them for a long time.
One of my like first paychecks.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy all the VSTs that I actually use because it was when that law was passed that you can lose a Grammy when they find out you've
Oh, I had no idea that was a thing.
Oh yeah, you can lose a Grammy if you have a cracked plugin on the song.
Yeah.
And so I was like, maybe one day I'll win a Grammy, whatever. I want that to happen. Yeah. So I'm 100% legit on everything.
I have been for a couple of years now. I'm very proud of myself.
In college, I was like, I have to be. And so that was like my first thing that I like treated myself to was all my plugins. And I really weeded them out too because I had like all the Waves plugins cracked and I would use 2.
Yeah.
I'm like, I probably only need those 2 and they're on sale. It's like $60. It's great. And then you just keep going. Like when you're like, you've run those into the ground, then you buy a new plugin. But I'm not into like hoarding stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But back to the girls. Yeah, sorry.
Back to the No. The tangents are what we live for on this podcast.
It's a lot of that. I think like the tablas and stuff are probably loops, but I'll quantize them
to do what you want to do.
What I want them to be. And then the drums are just really hard kind of drums.
Yeah, like trap adjacent. Because I don't feel like they're trap, but they're trap adjacent.
Yeah. And then there's that one fill in the second verse that I'm really proud of.
Yeah.
It's my little Skrillex sicko mode remix moments. And Mel always has me rewind it when we listen to it in the car.
Oh, that's so funny. That's very sweet and endearing too, I feel like.
Yes. Yeah. She's an even bigger Skrillex fan than I am.
Oh.
And then there's that beat switch in the last chorus.
Yeah.
Love doing that, especially on K-pop
It's
records.
Really cool. I forgot you did it. And then again, I'd like for this interview, I listened to the full song again. I was like, oh shit, right, I forgot about this part. Like, it's really cool.
Fun fact, actually the post-chorus, that like drop moment, in the very first in the first version of the song was not 4 to the floor.
Oh.
That was like a 11th hour Ryan Tedder idea to make it the same every time. And I'm so glad.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy has a lot of good ideas.
Oh.
He's had
a couple good ideas.
A couple, you know. One hit song, right?
That song is another story that I'm almost like, does this sound like too douchey to tell the story?
No, but tell the story. People live for these stories.
It's wild because it doesn't happen. Like it's another story that like doesn't happen.
No.
8 a.m., no session booked that day. Phone rings. It's Ryan. Be at the house at 10. BLACKPINK are coming. And we're like, okay. And that's literally how the day started. Yeah. And then it turned out it was Jenny and Rosé's first ever co-write.
Wow.
That wasn't with Teddy. Because Teddy is just like, he's basically the fifth member, right? It turned out they weren't even really in LA to write. They were on vacation, and it just happened that we just wrote a song that day.
Wow.
And they were so incredible. Like, they have such great instincts, because it's like, who better to write a Blackpink song than, half of Blackpink?
Right.
And we just had so much fun. And they would sometimes get an idea from Mel would throw something out, Madison would throw something out, and then they would be like, okay, give us a second. And they would like go to another room, talk amongst each other, and then come back with a united front and have a decision.
Wow.
It was very concise.
Yeah.
And then we actually cut the first verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus. And the second verse at that stage, because Lisa wasn't there and Jisoo wasn't there, we knew we would need to write more parts.
Right.
Or they would write more.
Right.
They would write more parts.
Whatever.
It just, how it is with like half-finished songs.
Right,
It usually is like, okay, we're going to take this to Seoul or whatever, and then they'll finish it. And I was convinced I wouldn't be the person finishing the track. I was just like throwing suggestions out there.
Right.
Because
for our listeners, that's what happens a lot with K-pop stuff, is that like...
Especially with Blackpink, because
right.
I don't think there's a single track out there that Teddy hasn't touched.
Right, right.
Rightfully so. He's incredible at that. Like, that's really like, it's such a feat.
Yeah.
Like, he's really created this monster of a band. And they left after, it didn't take us long either. It was just kind of like...
Not surprising though, with you guys.
No, it just kind of, just rolled.
They
were all like kind of
they
like
had
on
a vacation to get back to.
We were all kind of like on a MIA Bad Girls Do It moment, hence all the Middle Eastern influence. And they took the song with them. They were super excited. We like texted the rest of the day, and everybody was like, "This is such a smash! Oh my god, I can't stop listening." And then they were like, "Hey, why don't we meet tomorrow and tweak it a little bit?" And we were like, "Okay, cool. Justin, cancel tomorrow."
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "Okay, can you, okay." And we're like, "Okay, good. Same time tomorrow." That morning, we wake up and we get word, okay, they can't do it. And we were like, "Okay, it's fine." But they were like, "Okay, but we're still taking it to Seoul and we're going to finish it. No worries. We love it." But we were already on the way to the studio. So we all sit in the room, and it's the same team, Ryan, Madison, Mel, and I. And we're like, should we just write something else? And so we wrote Weapons.
There you go. Okay. The one thing I loved about that song, the 808s on there, like, really hit. What are you using for 808s? Are you a sample guy? You have a specific VST you like to use?
I hate saying this, but it really depends.
Yeah.
It's always such a bummer when you watch an interview and it's like,
Yeah.
it depends. But it really does for the style of music you're making.
Right.
I think a good rule of thumb is if your 808's really exposed, if you want some like Lil Dicky type shit,
Right.
absolutely use a sample. It will always sound better.
Right.
Just use a sample, pitch it up and down, those little variations that happen when you just drop it into a sampler and it gets like a little slower and like it gets that like flubby dubby thing. It's really dope. Like kind of like a tapey moment.
Right.
For like giant pop tracks like that, Sublab 2.
Sublab 2 is great. You know, it's so funny. So this next segment that we're about to go on, plug or unplug, not quite yet, but eventually that was one. I almost put it on there and I didn't, which is so funny.
Okay.
Because I wasn't sure what you used, and that's why I was like, I'll ask it here, and then I'll ask other plugins later. But I love Sublab 2.
It's fantastic.
It's so good.
I love that Sublab 2 is not just 808s.
Right.
I love those basses.
Yeah.
I love the like those Reese basses and stuff like that. Super, super dope. The analog, like the Moog samples are really good.
Yeah. It's all really, really great. And that's the thing too. I'm in agreement where it's like, that's how I do 808s, where same thing. It depends. Sometimes I'll find a cool sample on Splice or whatever and be like, oh, this is cool. Like, I'll use this one. And then sometimes I'm like, when I actually want to play something in and be more exact with it, like in a pop record, I'll use Sublab, or I use this other one called Initial Audio's 808 Studio.
I haven't tried that one yet.
It's a good one.
I used to use 808 Warfare.
Yeah, that was the one that
Contact.
used. Yeah.
I think everybody did.
Yeah.
Not that great, man.
Yeah, it was
Not
at the
that
time.
They had a lot of that like raunchy mid range, but
Yeah.
like there wasn't really much bass to them. There's actually a couple like songs that like Ghost produced for DJs that I use them on, and I'm like, oh, there's no bass in the drop.
Yeah, good that your name's not on it.
Why is there no bass in the drop?
Oh my God. Okay, so this next segment, I want to talk about current favorite piece of gear or plugin that you're using a lot right now. It doesn't have to be something new. Could be something that you bought 10 years ago, but something that you're using a lot in the last couple months.
Favorite piece of gear that I use a lot. So incredibly boring, man. I use a Moog. I have 2 Moogs. I have a Juno, I have a Super 6, I have a Rhodes. I have a couple guitars. I try to really, like, if I can't make it work with those, Serum. I just love Serum so much. It's just the best thing.
Yeah.
For everything.
It can make any sound at the end of the day.
It's so good. And I just, I just love Serum so much.
Hey, to each their own.
It's really my ultimate go-to if I had one plugin I could save, and the rest I had to do with like stock plugins in GarageBand.
Right.
GarageBand. Sorry.
Right.
Foreigner card. Yeah. Take all my plugins, but not Serum.
How are you using Serum? Are you do you sit there and you tweak and you make your own sounds, or are you like a preset and then tweak kind of guy?
Go to adsrsounds.com and buy all the preset packs. And if they don't work, I make sounds.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I do that. I like their stuff a lot. That's good. I don't have the patience to like sit there and craft sounds.
I used to a lot when I was still like an EDM kid.
Yeah. But like, same thing, like in a session, it's like, I don't want to be sitting there messing with the
fuck no.
Yeah, I need to find a sound now. Yeah. And that makes me feel something, and let's just move.
Yeah, and it needs to be that sound.
Yeah.
And when you have it. And there's just a couple sounds that Serum can't make because they're just stock sounds from other synths that you need right now.
Right, yeah. I love Serum, and my Serum is Omnisphere, where it's like,
Omnisphere is incredible too.
I can't live without it. That's my desert island, like, give me stock everything, but I need Omnisphere.
Honestly, it's probably the better desert island.
Well, because it has more organic sounds too.
Yeah, it's probably better. It's probably fuck that. You can sample things in Serum. Yeah. It's not going to be like a multi-sampled piano, but
it's something.
That'll be great.
Listen, they're both great. Like those are some of the first things I tell people to buy when you start producing. It's like, get those two, and you are pretty damn set for the most part.
Serum, a lot more affordable.
Yeah.
Than Omnisphere.
Yeah, and I'm like deep in Omnisphere. I've got all the
also
expansion
the space
packs.
it takes up on your hard drive.
Yeah, I keep it on an external. Yeah, because I have all the expansions and stuff.
Okay.
And but it's also an SSD, so it's like super fast. So it's great now. So the last segment here is a little segment we're calling Plug or Unplug. I'm going to name a piece of gear or a plugin or an instrument, and you say plug if it's something you love and use a lot. Unplug if you don't like it, or it's just not something you reach forever. And bypass if you've never used it and you have no knowledge about it.
Okay, cool.
First one is Cable Guy's Shaper Box.
Bypass.
Yeah. It's like a multi-module plugin thing.
Oh, like an Effectrix type situation?
Yeah. Yeah. It has it's like reverse and like an LFO thing on there.
And Cubase has a stock one.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so fucking Cubase again coming out. Next one. Very universally seen in many, many studios. Teletronics LA2A, the real one.
Plug, love.
Yeah.
Don't have one, but
I don't
love.
I have I have the Audioscape one, which I love.
Audioscape, man.
They're great. Next plugin is Soundtoys Crystallizer.
Plug.
Yeah.
Plug.
Yep.
Valhalla Shimmer is better.
Yeah.
But Crystallizer is very good.
Yeah. It is a thing. It was so funny as I was like looking for plugins, basically like to make the segment, I'll like open up Ableton or Pro Tools and just like look through my plugins and just be like, all right, which one should I ask about? And that was one where I was like, I haven't opened that plugin in a long time.
It's very good.
It's very good.
It's very good. I do a lot of resampling through stuff like that because I don't like having it on there.
Right.
Because I don't trust it to do the same thing all the time.
But I want to print it down and be able to do that. Yeah, that's
for sure.
Same thing with like Shimmer.
Yeah.
Where I want to print that down.
Definitely Shimmer over Crystallizer, but Crystallizer very good.
Yeah, it's a fun little thing. Next one is one of the most famous and most expensive microphones, Sony C800.
Plug.
Yeah, you're a fan?
Yes.
I'm not.
Oh.
I know, I'm rare. It's too bright for my taste.
It depends on who's on it.
1,000%.
100%.
That's every microphone, to be fair, too. But for the most part,
except the 251.
Yeah, that mic sounds good on everyone.
Yeah, C800. There is no better rap mic.
Yes, I think that's fair.
It's amazing.
Yeah, Because like, also just how rap is mixed is like that's like, I don't know, it's almost like the C800 was like made for it, where it's like the vocal sits here and everything else is above
There's so
or below
much
it.
room for bass.
Yeah. I just like, personally, I like my vocals to be like mid forward and like warm and like whatever.
Same.
And like,
Yeah,
it's just it's, to me, it's like a taste thing.
No, but
it's
like, I don't dislike it. That's hence plug.
It's a great microphone. There's a reason why it's so expensive. This next plugin, I believe I know the answer to, but I wanted to ask it anyway. Waves Shep 73.
Plug. Used to be my go-to, actually the channel strip.
Yeah.
Used to be my go-to vocal chain.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's funny. Mel has brought up to me a couple times.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like,
she
loves
loves
it.
it.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm curious your take.
It still is. Like, she still has her like
Her chain, yeah.
SM7 preset.
Yeah.
And it just works.
It brings out exactly what you want in the SM7. That's why we all love 1073s. For those who don't know, that's what that thing is based on, essentially.
Basically.
Yeah. This next plugin, we ask every producer. CLA vocals. Oh, no.
I don't only want to unplug. I want to light it on fire. Especially the face-to-face dry preset. I hate it with every ounce of my being.
I've never used any of the presets. I'll tell you that. I've always been, that's like one
But
of the
you know what? That compressor actually slaps.
Yeah.
I just hate how it sounds.
Yeah.
When it's on everything.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so overused. It's such an instant satisfaction thing, and then you can't take it off anymore, and then you get demoitis, and then you have to send the settings to your mixer, and then your mixer gives you that look, and you don't know.
I learned the hard way. I used to use it a lot. This was like early on in my production days, as we all did, because it was, quick and easy, and you got to sound good.
Yeah, and face-to-face dry.
Yeah, and I used to, I used to do a lot of EDM stuff as a top liner. It's like, it kind of needs that for EDM stuff, where it's like, I need it fucking hyped and whatever. It's good for that.
JJP vocals, way better.
I used to use that one a lot too. But anyway, I did it on like one of like my favorite songs, and like it was at a time when I was like doing it for like, and I thank God I don't do it anymore, but I would do it as like my day one bounce, where I was like, I'm just trying to get shit done quickly. I'll put that on.
And then you can't go back.
And that's what I learned. Where it was like, people got used to it, and then we would like produce it down. I take it off. They're like, oh, the vocal like lost all its whatever. I'm like, oh, God damn it. So I had to get off that.
That's truly why I hate it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you'll just get a final vocal. Like that sounds like a demo.
Right.
It will always sound like a demo.
It's a very dangerous plugin, but yeah, if you end up listening to a lot of the episodes, or just like even to this part where it's like everyone has really wild takes, and it's a lot of fun.
It's the MSG of plugins.
But I love MSG. I don't like this plugin,
but it gives me a headache.
See, it always sits fine with me. So the last plugin we always talk about, or piece of gear rather, is one that should be pretty widely used, that like most people should have used. This one being Valhalla Supermassive. It's a free plugin.
Every single session.
You like it?
Multiple tracks. Unbelievable. It's especially the ensemble library.
Yeah.
Beautiful sound design tool. Also, the reverbs sound really good.
Oh, they're incredible. They're like, sometimes the reverbs can be a little bit much.
Yeah, of course they're a lot. Yeah, it's called Supermassive.
Fuck me, you're right. Well, anyway, I have definitely taken far too much of your time up.
Oh, come on.
But dude, no, thank you so much for sharing your incredible stories and your secrets and tips and opinions. I think our listeners are really going to love it. And we can cut this next part out, but is there anything that you're working on or that you want to plug before we end the pod?
Anything I want to plug?
And if not, no. That's fine. But
get the dessert at Cali.
There you go.
You have to just get the dessert at Cali.
Okay. No, noted.
Yeah.
I can't get it, but someone else will. I'll get it for my wife.
Yes. Just watch her face.
Just watch her.
That dessert is so good.
Okay.
That in 2020, when we didn't have a vaccine for COVID yet, I took my mother there on her way to my house from the airport. I just picked her up and I was like, we're going there. We're having the tasting menu. I know you're really tired, but it's the only time we can get in there because they're booked.
Right.
And it's still a pandemic.
Right.
And we went in there. It was only like half the tables were open, obviously.
Right.
We had the whole thing. My mom was basically dying of exhaustion. And I was like, okay, just wait till the dessert. The dessert comes out. She's like, this is incredible, but I can't finish it. 2 tables over in the middle of a pandemic. Somebody says, oh, you're not finishing that?
Yeah.
I'll finish it.
Yeah. And they took it?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, you sound like a very good son for taking your mother to a very fancy
That's how
restaurant.
good that thing is.
Oh my God. Well, dude, again, thank you so much. And that's it, guys. Take care. Thanks for tuning into Producer Points. Your support means the world to us. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with fellow music enthusiasts. For an encore, check out our Spotify playlist featuring all the songs we've discussed on the show, giving you the perfect soundtrack to your creative journey. Until next time, this is Justin Gammella.